With the recent OPM chapter, a big discussion that's coming back around, it seems, is Goku versus Saitama and who actually wins that versus battle. So today I want to open up that discussion in more detail and just talk about some of the scaling that's been going around and kind of just open the discussion, I'd say. So starting with Saitama, his recent scaling has become his galaxy busting feat and his destruction of the stars, and with some of the other statements like the Viz infinite power statement that we'll cover that. So starting with the planetary stuff, we know in the recent chapters Saitama was just him clashing with Garou was enough to completely destroy the planet, something that's pretty common in Dragon Ball, for instance. So I don't think anyone would really say that, let's say Goku from, we'll say the Buak. I think Buak, obviously Super Goku is probably a lot stronger than most people would assume Saitama can handle, unless you think he's like universal. But for that Super Goku, he's kind of just destroying multiple universes at that time. If you know how big the Dragon Ball universe is, you know that destroying One Punch Man's universe and Dragon Ball's universe, it's a little different. So with One Punch Man, I think the best thing we can really compare it to right now is Buak Goku, which is still very impressive. Buak Goku is still incredibly strong, but that's the one that we're going to be using. From the recent calc, Saitama's destroying multiple stars, which comes out to around multi-galaxy level, something incredibly impressive, as not many people in Shonen can actually even reach that level, most capping out a planetary if that. So Saitama's definitely gotten a lot bigger scaling right now. And with Saitama being able to destroy these stars, I think a big question has come about: what point does Goku actually be even able to contend with that? So with Dragon Ball, Goku's best scaling comes from fighting the Boos, like Majin Buu. Comes from fighting Majin Buu. And in fighting Majin Buu, he begins to get that galaxy level of power. With Cell, he was solar system level, being stronger than Cell in the Buu saga, and Cell being able to destroy solar systems. Cell at that time was stated to be a threat to the universe, but we don't really know if that's all at once or an overtime thing. So let me know what you think personally in the comments below, as I'm not going to make a say on that. But it is worth noting that Cell was a threat to the universe, but he's guaranteed to have been destroying solar systems with at least his Kamehamehas. And Saitama's just raw punch is enough to recreate the same thing, really. Much higher if you take the multi-galaxy calc to be factual. And in the Buu saga, Goku starts scaling to Majin Buu, and Majin Buu himself is destroying galaxies at a time in a similar vein to Broly, goes around destroying galaxies. So can Saitama, with this scaling, ignoring the universal scaling for a moment, defeat this Goku? Well, let's take a look at their arsenals for a minute, right? Saitama mostly punches, he relies on his stats. He's kind of like a beat stick, right? If you've ever played League of Legends, I know League of Legends, if you've ever played that game, you'll know what a stat stick is. It's just kind of an item that gives you a bunch of stats, say more health, damage, that kind of thing, right? No passives, no abilities attached to it. That's kind of like Saitama. He just punches things really hard. He is the One Punch Man after all, not the One Hacks Man. So Saitama really mostly relies on his stats. I'm not gonna say he doesn't have any hacks, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying mostly he's portrayed to be relying on his stats. Whereas Goku is actually portrayed pretty often to incorporate certain abilities. Yes, he does actually beat people to death with his punches, with his kicks, but he also has more options like the Destructo Disc, which he actually does know, the Solar Flare, which he also knows, which can can blind his opponents. He has his Kamehameha, the classic, the iconic move, and he also has other abilities such as the Spirit Bomb, which takes the energy from all across the universe and was actually capable of destroying massive spaces with alone. And you can actually scale that Spirit Bomb to Universal itself, but I'm not going to comment on that. Let me know what you think on that. How strong do you think the Spirit Bomb is, and do you think it would actually kill Saitama there and then? I personally have no comment on it. All it is it's a much stronger technique than he usually uses, but it does require charging up. So whether Goku gets that off is up to you. Though, if we're talking about just pure hand-to-hand, skill-to-skill, I would say that Saitama, he usually just kind of seems to throw ordinary punches, he seems to put it into like an OPM kind of standpoint. Garou can be seen as like a stand-in for Goku in this sense. Garou is extremely skilled and is extremely potent. He's able to copy others' moves and techniques similar to Goku. Goku does the same things, and he adapts very quickly. I think that if you were to put these two people on even footing, Goku's Saiyan biology that allows him to continuously adapt to his opponents and grow stronger from his injuries and from just fighting would give him a significant advantage. But whether that allows him to beat Saitama's incredible power and variety, like his table flip, which is a massive AoE, or his omnidirectional serious punch, if you think his after images are actually like a part of his technique or just a speed thing. If it's just a speed thing, then you'd have to ask, okay, maybe Goku can, react to that if he's fast enough. Or if you think it's a technique thing, then it becomes a very difficult question of, can Goku actually react to all these different omnidirectional punches? Because he knows his own after image techniques himself. He knows the instant transmission as well that allows him to teleport, which may give him the drop on Saitama. Let me know what you think on that one. But I personally think that with Goku and his variety of techniques, he definitely has a decided advantage over Saitama. But whether that allows him to win is more so down to whose stats are better. So whose stats are better? Well, in the Buu arc, like I said earlier, Goku begins scaling to Majin Buu, and Majin Buu was destroying galaxies. These galaxies are actually more so like, you have North Galaxy, South Galaxy, East Galaxy, West Galaxy, and these galaxies are actually quarters of the universe. These are massive spaces, and through these galaxies, if Kid Buu is destroying them, or Buuhan, whichever one you take, for now we'll just say that for argument's sake they're all the same strength, it doesn't matter. Let's say if Goku is scaling to these characters and they are blowing up these massive galaxies, which are almost quarters of the universe, Goku's attack potency, how hard he can hit, may rival, or should probably rival, Saitama's. Whether you think it's greater or not, you can argue it's greater. It definitely can, but at a minimum, at a bare minimum, it should at least be equal to Saitama's. And through that AP, I think alone, he's already a good match for Saitama. And Saitama himself, if you believe him to match Garou's infinite power, Saitama just probably one-shots Goku there and then. If you don't think Goku is universal in the Buu arc, which you can, realistically say, it's quite a debatable topic whether Goku is universal in the Buu arc. But at a minimum, they are at least equal in attack potency. As for speed, I don't really think it's a question that Goku is much, much faster. Goku is able to train in the Pod to Namek, at least in the anime, which I'll just use for now since it's most commonly known. In the anime, on the way to Namek, he's able to train and he's able to react to comets flying past him, and these comets were calced at I think around a quadrillion times the speed of light, which is insane. And I don't believe One Punch Man has anything on that same level, unless you want to say that, if you want to incorporate, say, the hyperspace scaling and start saying that because he's interacting with this fourth dimensional object, he's beyond time and he has this inaccessible speed, in which case, yeah, you could probably say that. But if you were to start saying that, there's also things in Dragon Ball, like the Kakarot game, in which Goku and Kid Buu start fighting mid-instant transmission, which is instant, literally in the name. But it's more so just stated to literally just be teleportation. Mid-teleportation, they're fighting, which should be an even more impressive speed feat if you want to look at it like that. So it comes down to which one you want to interpret. But I think while Goku definitely has a massive variety in abilities that would help him, I think his speed alone is enough to definitely just give a massive advantage. I wouldn't say it allows him to win outright, but I definitely think that Saitama has a big gap to close because of that speed. Which brings us to then the most important factor in the entire battle. Do you think Saitama is fourth dimensional or is universal? And the two main things that, push this are the Viz statement, which says he has infinite power, or he's able to match Garou, who has infinite power. And he's able to match the hyperspace gates. Garou's able to overload them completely and blow them away. And Saitama is able to just grab them and move them around, and Garou's completely surprised by this. And he does call it a hyperspace, which the definition of a hyperspace, for those that do not know, is something with more than 3 dimensions. So if you think that just interacting with that is enough to make him, on that same level, a 4th dimensional being, someone that's beyond the 3-dimensional objects, he would actually beat Goku, unless you think that Goku in the Buu saga is also 4th dimensional. If you think that he could blow up the whole universe, the whole Dragon Ball universe, that would actually be multiversal, even bigger than universal. So instead of destroying a universe, he's able to destroy multiple universes or something of equivalent size, which is the Dragon Ball universe. So if you think Goku in the Majin Buu saga is universal, in context to Dragon Ball, that's actually much more impressive than Saitama destroying his own universe, because the Dragon Ball universe is much bigger and much more vast. But if you don't think Goku is universal, and you do think Saitama's 4D or universal, Saitama should beat Goku. If you think they're both equal in this terms, you think they're both universal at the same time, but you don't think Dragon Ball's universe would make him is more impressive, or you just think it's kind of like a same level of feat, then it comes down to they have equal AP. You can, if you want to argue, if you want to push it, you could say they're around the same speed, but Goku may be faster, and it comes down to technique and variety. Saitama is able to kind of put the moves on Garou, who's copying his techniques, and is still able to push Garou. So you may be able to say that even though Goku adapts to Saitama, it may not be enough. But you could also just as easily say that Goku adapts in a different way, and Goku may predict what Saitama is doing, and just his variety, his solar flare, like I mentioned, destructo disc, his range, his transmissions, his spirit bomb, all of these things may just give him such an overwhelming advantage that Goku then and there might just beat Saitama. But it's definitely down to how you interpret multiple things at this time, which is really impressive for One Punch Man. I remember when it was kind of a massive joke to think that Saitama would ever beat Goku, or that he could ever beat Goku. We had to make all these gag arguments and other such things, and you had the Goku people clowning the Saitama guys, and you had the Saitama guys trying to defend Saitama. But now it's actually more of a pitched battle, at least for Dragon Ball Z Goku. I think Saitama is definitely beating Namek Saga and above, up to Cell Saga and Majin Buu Saga, obviously. I think it's very fair to say that Saitama, with his current scaling and with how strong he is currently, should be more than enough with just his stats alone to just punch Goku or Cell or anyone like that in the Cell Saga, in the Android Saga, and defeat them. But the real question comes down to, does he beat the Majin Buu Saga Goku? And I'll let you guys decide that one. So let me know in the comments what you think on who wins between Majin Buu Goku and Saitama. My name has been Valor, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment, and have a wonderful day.